Hello students, welcome back to your Computer Networks lab. Today we are going to study experiment number 5 in part A simulation program. So let's look into the problem statement. The problem statement is implement and study the performance of GSM on NS2 or NS3 using MAC layer or equivalent environment. So we have to study the performance of GSM. So before moving on to this experiment, let us understand what is GSM. GSM stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. It is a 2G technology, or we can say 2G technology is mainly based on GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication. 2G technology is mainly based on this. Okay. So this 2G technology enables various networks to provide services like text messages, picture messages and MMS. So we know what are the services of 2G technology. So this 2G technology is either based on TDMA or CDMA, where TDMA stands for time division multiple access and CDMA stands for code division multiple access. 2G technology is mainly based on TDMA and CDMA, time division multiple access and code division multiple access, where time division multiple access divides the signal into different time slots, and code division multiple access, it allocates special code to each user so as to communicate over multiple physical channels. So 2G technology is mainly based on CDMA and TDMA. As part of this experiment, we are considering this topology which consists of 5 nodes. Okay, that is a sender node, a destination, base station 1, base station 2 and mobile switching center. Sender node is also called as a mobile node where it keeps moving, and the destination node is also a mobile node which keeps moving from one place to another place. Whereas the base stations are fixed. Mobile nodes keep moving from one place to another. Okay. And we also have a mobile switching center. Whenever two mobile nodes wants to communicate, the communication must be established between these two. Now the question is, if the mobile node which is considered as a sender, if it is in the range of base station 2 and if the destination node, that is the destination mobile node, is in the range of the base station 1, then the request has to be first sent from this mobile node which is sender to this base station, because the destination node is not in the range of this base station. There will be a range within which there could be various mobile nodes. But if any mobile node wants to communicate with another mobile node which is in the range of some other base station, so this mobile node has to first send a request to its nearest base station. Okay, and this mobile node comes under the range of this nearest base station. So mobile device which is a sender will send a request to the base station 1, and between these two base stations there could be multiple hops or multiple base station in the mobile node. And what is the job of the mobile switching center is, as I told, the mobile node keeps moving from one place to another place. So whenever a mobile nodes are moving, the main goal of mobile switching center is to attach the mobile node to its nearest base station. Whenever mobile nodes keep moving, mobile switching center, it takes care of attaching the mobile node to its nearest base station. So that is the job of mobile switching center. Now what type of technology it is? Is it a wired or a wireless? If you look into, as I told, mobile nodes keep moving whereas the base stations are fixed. Mobile nodes keep moving or it comes under the range of different base station, but whereas the base station are fixed. So it is neither wireless nor wired. It is a semi-wireless network. Okay. So in this experiment, we are actually analyzing the performance of this GSM. Again, we do not have we will not be having a NAM file or an animation file for experiment number 5 since it is a semi-wireless network. Our NS2 only supports wired as well as wireless network, and it supports semi-wireless network but not completely. It supports semi-wireless network only partially. NS2 supports wireless as well as wired network, but it supports semi-wireless network partially, not completely. So we will not have a NAM file or an animation file for this experiment number 5. Since 2G technology or 3G technology or any of this technology, these technologies are directly connected with the internet, so we cannot actually analyze or implement this 2G technology. So we are only studying the performance of the GSM. Okay. So as I told, we cannot be able to view animation file because the animation or a NAM file is built only for wired as well as for the wireless network. Even though this module of GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication, it is present, but we will not be able to plot animation for GSM with the help of this NS2 simulator. Will not be able to plot an animation file with the help of this NS2 simulator tool. So we are actually creating an environment for 2G technology. So we are not having any NAM file for this experiment, as I told. Even though the module of GSM is present in NS2, but since it is semi-wireless, and animation file only supports wired as well as wireless, whereas this GSM, which is where 2G technology is based on GSM, we will not be able to get a NAM file since it is a semi-wireless. Okay, so we are just creating an environment for 2G technology with the help of the GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication, by using this topology. Okay, now let's understand the program. So before here we first have to set some of the parameters. So the general parameters are, we are setting the stop time to 100 seconds. And the topology, what type of topology are we using here in case of 2G technology? In case of 2G technology, as I said, it is based on the GSM. So the type of the topology is set to GSM. So GSM topology is set type to GSM. So whenever we are creating an environment for a 2G technology or a 3G technology, we have to set some of the parameters. So the first parameter is what is the stop time, and we also have some more parameters like AQM parameters, which is advanced queue management parameters. Sorry, active queue management parameters. Okay. So what are the active queue management parameters? We are setting the minimum threshold to 30, maximum threshold to 0, and set adaptive to 1. Whenever an adaptive is set to 1, it indicates, 1 indicates adaptive red. Now red is RED is a queuing mechanism, like we have drop tail. RED is random early detection. I had already explained about drop tail and RED while explaining the basics of simulation, that is TCL programming. So adaptive is set to 1 when we are using adaptive RED, and it is set to 1 when we are using the plain RED, which stands for random early detection. Once we set the parameter, the next step is how do we generate the traffic. If you notice, now second thing what we have to remember, whenever we create any topology, we need to send or generate the traffic. Now here in case of 2G technology, we are using a TCP protocol. So whenever we are using TCP as a transport layer protocol, what is the agent application that we are supposed to use? The agent application that we are supposed to use is FTP. That is at the source node. Whenever we are using TCP protocol, TCP as a transport layer protocol at the sender, we need to use TCP sync as a protocol at the destination. And and the agent application that we are using is FTP. Once we set active queue management protocol, the next step is to generate the traffic. Set flow equal to 0 and set window size to 30. I'll come back to this what is flow equal to 0 when we have a single path, that is, by looking into this topology, it looks simple, like while the communication has to be established between this sender and the destination, there is only one single path. There could be two paths where if this destination belong to different base station, one path is from sender or source to this base station, another path is from the destination, from this base station to this destination. First, the request has to go from source node to its nearest base station. Then this base station will establish communication with this base station, and finally the communication will be established to the destination mobile node. So there is one path here and another path here. But actually this is only a single path which is established between the sender and the destination, or the source and the destination. Whenever there is a single path, the flow is set to 0, otherwise it is greater than 0. So we'll come back to this at the later part of this program. Next, as I told, we are actually not having a NAM file, so we have to plot an X graph. So for plotting an X graph, we need this plotting statistics. Okay, NS2 will not completely, as we know, it does not completely support GSM network. So by default, we plot a graph by taking this GSM parameters. So these are the GSM parameters, that is set wrap to 100. Okay, now this is a plotting statistics. Okay, that is how many number of packets can be sent. Next is source trace, that is IS stands for initial source, and destination trace is your base station. As I told you, whenever this base station is taken as 2, that is from source node to its nearest base station, when we consider this as one path. Okay, so that is initially this which is the source node, initial source, and the destination is, since it has the request has to go to its nearest base station, so this becomes the destination, that is a base station 2. So these are actually the GSM parameters that has to be set before we plot the X graph. Now once we generate the traffic, the next step is we need to know what is the link established, what type of link are we establishing, whether it is a duplex link or a simplex link. Here in case of GSM, we have to set the bandwidth as well as propagation delay. So in GSM we use the main important thing here that is required in 2G network is what is the uplink bandwidth and what is the downlink bandwidth. So the bandwidth and the propagation delay in the GSM is we need, that is required for 2G network is we need to know what is the uplink bandwidth and the downlink bandwidth, that is the time to upload and time to download an image. Like if you want to download any image from the internet with the help of the 2G technology, it takes a lot of time because it is 2G technology is oldest. Now we are using 4G and 5G technology. So in case of 2G technology, the propagation delay will be very high and the bandwidth required will be very less, right? So here we need to have an uplink bandwidth. Here we use, in 2G technology, we use uplink bandwidth, the downlink bandwidth, the uplink propagation delay, and the downlink propagation delay. So these four parameters, that is the bandwidth and the propagation delay, are set. So set the bandwidth, downlink bandwidth of a GSM to 9600 and the propagation downlink propagation delay to 0.500 seconds, and yeah, and uplink I think we are not setting, we are only setting the download, how much time is needed, how much delay and the bandwidth is needed to download anything from the internet using this 2G technology. So the downlink bandwidth delay and the downlink propagation delay is set to 0.500 and 9600. This will be using later when we set the connection between different mobile nodes. Next, coming to our simulator class, we are creating an object for the simulator class and we are opening a trace file. As we in case of previous experiments, we have two data file, that is a NAM file and a trace file. As I've already told you, we do not use a NAM file in 2G technology because it is semi wireless. It does not completely support semi wireless, so we are not having a NAM file. But in this experiment number 5, we are going to use a web trace file. Now, web trace file is needed for the 2G technology. Instead of NAM, we are going to use a web trace file. So, we have to analyze the number of packets dropped using that web trace file, that is by using an XGraph. So, we are plotting an XGraph to analyze the web trace file, that is how many packets are actually sent and how many packets are actually dropped. So, in this experiment, we are only generating the web trace file for creating the GSM network for the nodes and the mobile switching center and the base station. So we only have a trace file, we do not have a NAM file. Next, what is the topology? How many nodes do we have? We have 5 nodes. That is source node, destination node, base station 1, base station 2 and the mobile switching center. Initial or the source node is considered as IS, initial source. So we are creating the node, initial node, then the mobile switching center, base station 1, base station 2 and the destination node is considered as the last point. We are creating 5 nodes. Now once we initialize the node, we need to create a topology, right? So once we know how many nodes do we have, I told you, right? So we have to set up a connection, that is establish the connection, how much bandwidth is needed, how much propagation delay is needed, what type of link that we are using, whether it is duplex, simplex or half duplex. Okay, so we have to create a cell topology now. So what is the cell topology? As we know, we have cell topology is we have for any 2G or 3G or any of the network, creation of all this network need a cell topology. Without a cell topology, 2G network, 3G network, all these networks will not work. Okay. So cell topology, it is a cell site with respect to its base station and its mobile station, or we can say cell topology is a one. Okay, cell topology is a one where we have a cell size. Cell topology is one where we have a cell size with respect to its base station and its mobile station. Based on this, we can define the cell topology. Without creating a cell topology, this 2G, 3G technology will not work. So once we create a cell topology, then we have to set the link parameters. So let's see how do we create a cell topology. So we are creating a cell topology. We are writing a procedure, the name, the keyword procedure, the name of the procedure, and there is no parameters here. Okay. We are setting the object ns as global and the nodes also we are making these variables as global. As I told you, whenever we are creating a cell topology, what is the type of link that we use, whether it is a duplex. So here we are using a duplex link, that is between initial source and base station 1. Okay, so here we have considered, give me a minute, I'll just or let's bring it down. That's okay, let it be. Yeah, see, we have creating a cell topology, we're making this variables as global. Then we are setting a duplex link between the last point, LP stands for last point, which refers to the destination node. And now we are setting a duplex link between the last point and the base station 1. So if you look into the topology, we are setting a duplex link between the last point and the base station 1 with bandwidth and the simulation time or the propagation delay, and the queuing mechanism or the queuing technique that we use is drop tail. Then once you establish a duplex link between um, last point and the base station, then we need to establish duplex link between the base station 1 and mobile station, then mobile station and base station 2, and then base station 2 to initial source. Next step is set a duplex link between base station 1 and mobile switching center. So here we are setting a duplex link between base station 1 and mobile switching center with bandwidth, delay, and the queuing technique that we are using is random early detection. That is between the base station and mobile switching center, between these three. That is between this and this we use random early detection. Between the mobile node and the base station we use a drop tail. Okay. So then once we establish a duplex link between base station 1 and mobile switching center, now between mobile switching center and base station 2, so we are creating a duplex link, setting a duplex link between mobile switching center and base station 2, and duplex link between base station 2 and the initial source, which bandwidth, delay, and the queuing type is drop tail. Okay, and we are just printing it as GSM cell topology. This put S stands for print. We are simply telling that we have created a cell topology within this procedure called cell topo. So that means we may call the cell topology here in this program. Okay. Next, once we create once the cell topology has been constructed, next we need to set the link parameters. We have to set up the link parameters. So these are the link parameters that we have set up. So here again we are writing a procedure as set link parameter, where we are passing one parameter as t. So where it is called, if you look here, we are whenever we have a switch statement where type we have set it to do GSM. What is the type of topology we are using? It is a GSM topology. So here whenever this is GSM, so whenever the switch statement becomes true, okay, as I told you, 2G technology is based on CDMA, that is code division multiple access. We are calling this cell topology. So this is called function cell topology, right? So we create a cell topology. Once this is called, now control comes here. We call set link parameter, where we are passing type. What is the type? Type is set to GSM. So whenever we call this, now this T is equal to GSM. Okay. So we are making this variable, that is node downlink bandwidth, the downlink propagation delay. We are making these variables as global. Now we have to set this, whatever initially the parameters we have set to, that is threshold, maximum threshold, minimum threshold, flow window, and the source, the bandwidth, downlink bandwidth of a GSM, we have set this initially. So we have to now assign it. Okay. So see here, we are setting the bandwidth between base station 1 and mobile station. That is downlink bandwidth refers to the value. What is the value we have set? Downlink bandwidth delay for the GSM. Downlink bandwidth delay for the GSM is 9600. So we are setting that. Okay. With the duplex, similarly for mobile station and base station, we have to set the value. Okay, we are assigning the value here. That is, we are, after we create a cell topology, we have to set up a link parameters. That is the value that we have initially assigned. Similarly, we are also setting the propagation delay. Downlink propagation delay refers to the value, and $t refers to the GSM. Okay, the value is assigned between the base station 1 and mobile station, base station 2 and mobile station. That is the downlink bandwidth delay and the downlink propagation delay between base station 1 and mobile station, base station 2 and mobile station. So once the bandwidth is assigned between the nodes with this much amount and type of the link is duplex, now once we are done with this link parameters, now we need to go with the queue parameters. So what are the queuing parameters that we are using? Now here, queuing parameter that we are using is Q refers to the class and RED refers to the type of the class. There should be a space here. Okay, yeah. Q is referred to class, RED is the type of the class, set adaptive to, $adaptive is set to 1. That is, we are using adaptive RED, which is set to our adaptive RED. Okay, so we are setting the queue parameters here and set threshold to minimum threshold, maximum. So those values we are actually setting, okay, the queue parameters. And agent, here we are using a TCP agent as a transport layer protocol. With the window we have set it to 30. As I told you, in case of 2G technology, we are not using a NAM file, we are using a web trace file. Now where is this web trace file present? It is present at the location, it is present at this location. So that is wherever we have installed NS all-in-one, that is 3.4. So in this NS 3.4 version, in that we have a TCL folder, in that an EX folder, in that wireless scripts, in that we have some set of folders. In that set of folders, we have actually web.tcl. So it is a path where it is present. So whenever you are writing a program for this, you have to set this path and then save your lab5.tcl in this path, because we need to refer to this web.tcl to plot or to study the performance of the GSM. We use web.tcl, so you need to create your file, that is lab5.tcl, in this path, because web.tcl is present in this path. Okay, to refer that you need to create your file lab5.tcl in this path, because web.tcl is present in this folder wireless script. Okay, so we had looked into this, right? Now we are creating an object called insert delayer of class delayer. So we are creating insert delayer for the class delayer, creating object between node mobile switching center and base station 1 and mobile switching center and base station 2. Now we have to set up a forward TCP connection. As I told you, since here we are only using a single connection, whenever there is a single path between the source node and the destination, the control comes here. Whenever we are using two or more paths, that is flow greater than 0, okay, so here we are not considering, because as I told you, based on the here, as I told you, there could be multiple paths based on the topology. Since there is a single path, the flow becomes 0, and if the flow is greater than 0 means there will be two paths, one path between source node and base station 2 and another between base station 1 and the destination. So here we are only considering a single path between the source node and the destination. So if flow, dollar flow refers to the value, it was set to 0, 0 is equal to 0, it is condition becomes true, we are creating a TCP object. Okay, we are creating a TCP connection between initial source and the last point. As I told, there is only a single path. This is considered as, whenever we are establishing a connection, it is considered as a single path. So whenever we are establishing a connection, so we are creating a TCP connection between the initial source and the last point. We are creating an object. Okay, creating an object here, set TCP1 is an object, create a TCP connection, and SAC1 refers to selective acknowledgement. As we know that in TCP is a connection oriented, so we will have an acknowledgement. So we'll get an acknowledgement where selective acknowledgement 1, that is, we'll get an acknowledgement when the connection is established between the source node, initial source, and the final destination with flow value set to 1. Then, as I told you, once the connection is established between the source node and the destination node, we have to generate the traffic. Whenever we are using TCP as a transport layer protocol, the traffic, the application or the agent application which generates the traffic is FTP, right? So FTP is an agent application that has to be attached to TCP. So here we are attaching an FTP agent application, and it is actually started at time 0.8 second. We are generating a traffic, we are starting it at 0.8. Then finally we have a stop procedure, as we have for all the other programs, where we set so where we are making this variable as global, there was a space here. TF is an object for the trace file that we have already created. If you just look into, yeah, so we are making this as a global. Okay, and set wrap which was set to 100. Okay, and then so once we make these variables as global wrap and object of this trace file, then the complete trace file, this is we are setting, that is the complete trace file of the sender is set to SID, and the complete trace file of the destination is set to DID, and the out.tr is set to a variable called A. Now using these three variables, that is SID, DID and A, using these values we are plotting the X graph. So to plot a default graph of web trace, that is we are using a web.tcl for the 2G technology. So to plot a default graph of a web trace file, we require two important files. So those two important files is getrc and raw2xg. So these are the two files which are needed to plot the default graph, and this is the path where the getrc and raw2xg are present. Getrc is present at, like, if wherever you have installed your ns2, if it is installed at desktop, so desktop, in desktop folder, that is ns all in one, in ns all in one ns 2.34, in that bin folder, in that you have getrc. Similarly, like what is initial place where you have installed ns2, that is if it is desktop, then within that ns all in one, then ns 2.34, within that bin folder, within that you have raw2xg. So these are the two important files that are used to plot the default graph of a web trace file. These two files are needed to plot the graph. Okay, so this is the path where it is present, so we need to execute this. Okay, execute getrc and raw2xg. S stands for source, A is a variable that is used to the output of this is stored here in A, and M is the message. So we are redirecting, whenever we are using getrc and raw2xg, we are redirecting the content of this to another file called plot.xrg. Okay, so we are redirecting everything. Whenever we execute these two files, we are redirecting it to this file. Why this is redirected? Whenever we are plotting this graph, we can use, instead of writing this completely here in xgraph, as you know how to execute xgraph, so here we are redirecting it to another variable or another file. So we execute xgraph, instead of writing xgraph in terminal, we are writing in this file only, that is in lab5.tcl. Execute xgraph with x-axis being the time and y-axis being the number of packets. Since all the contents of getrc and raw2xg are redirected to plot.xrg, so we are using that plot.xrg and exit it, exit this procedure, that is stop procedure. Okay. Then finally stop this procedure and run the simulation file. The only change that you need to remember for experiment number 5 is you cannot directly go for gedit filename.tcl for saving experiment number 5. You need to refer this path. Okay, you need to set this path, or if you don't remember this, you can go and search for web.tcl. Wherever it is set, you can set the path to that in the terminal. Within that path, you can create your new lab5.tcl, since we need to refer web.tcl file to plot the graph and to study the performance of GSM. Okay, so this is the output of the X graph, how it looks like. Now X-axis represent the time and the Y-axis represent the number of packets, where red color that you are able to see is the number of packets. Okay, so the number of packets sent in 2G technology, as you know, it was slow, and the bandwidth required is also less, the propagation delay is low. So this here indicates the number of packets lost. The packets were sent, but it was lost. And since we are using a TCP, purple color indicates the number of acknowledgement received, and it is also not continuous. While receiving an acknowledgement also, there is a loss of acknowledgement. So red indicates the packets and the purple color indicates the number of packets dropped. So if you remember, we had set the wrap to 100. So here, while executing these two raw2xg and getrc, we are using, that is actually plotting statistics that is used to send the number of packets between. source node 1 and destination node. Many a times while sending a packet, many of the packets are getting dropped. So instead of taking an AWK script, we are using this get RC and raw2xg for this web trace file. Like you remember, we to derive the output, that is the number of packets dropped from the given trace file, we were using an AWK script. So instead of that, we are using getrc and raw2xg file, okay, to know the number of packets dropped. So if you could see, the gap here indicates the number of packets dropped, and this indicates the number of acknowledgement received that was also lost. So this was all about your experiment C. In this folder, wireless script, that is, once we set the path, in this path you have to create your new file and execute nsFilename.dcl. So if there is no error, you will get this xgraph. Okay. So this was about your experiment number 5. Thank you, students.